Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Pretty Little Liars Original Sins Season 1. Well, that was interesting, let's just put it like that. Now, it's not entirely terrible, but it's not entirely good either. And the big question you have to ask yourself, which is something I said back when either I reviewed the first 2 episodes or the trailer, and the most important question you have to ask yourself is why? Why? Just why? Why? Like just that question. Just why? Why is this happening? Why is this person doing that? Why are the events happening the way they are? What is the point of all this? Why? Like just why? You know what I'm saying? And if you can't answer that question as you're writing an episode, then you know you have a problem. And what's that problem? Bad writing. You can drink that expired milk after its due date, but after a while, that bitter taste ain't gonna go away. You know what I'm saying? And you might start like spitting up chunks and stuff. I am allergic to bad writing. Achoo! And I don't like sneezing and coughing all the time. And it really pains me to have to be ill from bad writing. See, this show suffers from that bad writing. There's a lot of plot armor in this show. A lot of things just happen for the reasons for they happening. And it's just kind of like, why? And everything. And basically, when you go from scene to scene, you're left asking yourself, why? And I got tired of asking myself why and everything. And it's literally every scene in every episode for 10 episodes. Why? And I don't understand the point. And the reason why I keep asking myself why is the reason why I ask myself why did they get this showrunner? And who is that showrunner? None other than that rascal himself, Roberto Akira Sakaska. And seriously, Hollywood, stop hiring this man. He's not good. He's not very good at all. His shows are very confusing. His shows are very pointless. His shows are very cringe. And first let me explain a little something about this chalkboard that he's in. Now, if you've ever watched any of my videos or all of them, at some point in time, this chalkboard shows up. But why, you might ask? I don't think I've ever explained why, so I'm gonna explain it now. As you can see, it's an old-fashioned school chalkboard. And in that chalkboard is an equation. And inside the chalkboard is also a person. Now, it could be anybody, but the people I put in there are these two type of people and these two type of people only. Showrunners and directors. And next to these people's heads are question marks and everything. And see, this board is known as the board of idiocracy. Why? Because I feel these people are idiots. So I placed them on the boards of idiocracy. And see, the reason for that is because I feel like at some point in time, they lost their minds and created crap. See, this board is very special to me. It's not to mock nobody. Oh no. See, in case you might think that, it's not to mock nobody. It's for them to be all like, at some point in time, I was good. And at some point in time, I lost my mind. So I must focus, sit my behind down, and remember what made me so great to begin with and everything. So I can produce a good show or a good movie. So this is why I put this board up. This board is literally because some people, mostly every person you've ever seen on this board, has created some good work in the past. But then at some point in time, as I'm reviewing a show or movie, they lost their stinking mind. And that is what happened to Roberto. I actually like the first season of Riverdale. Not perfect, but it was pretty solid. But then we get into season 2 and everything turned to crap. Things went so badly that the show is so bonkers and bizarre and so cringe. He doesn't understand people of color. The man is openly gay and he doesn't even understand. He can't even create good like LGBT characters that make any sense. And this goes on even with the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. The LGBT people on that show have problems too because the man doesn't know what the world he is doing. And like, it's so bad that like people make fun of the cast of Riverdale because the dialogue is so cringe. There are people who came up with this phrase years ago talking about free the cast of Riverdale. Cancel that show and free them from their contracts. And the show has finally been canceled. This is going to be its last season. And there even been 2 former castmates before the show got canceled to where like they was thrilled their characters got written off and everything. That's pretty bad and embarrassing that your stars were thrilled their characters got written off the show. One person expressed it online on social media and the other person expressed it in an interview. And this is how bad this dude is. He can't create nothing stable for too long. It will start off either pretty good or just okay, but then at some point in time, he ruins it because the man has literally lost his mind. And for some bizarre reason, Hollywood just keeps on hiring him. Same with the original creator of the original Pretty Little Liars. She has lost her mind as well and stuff. And you know, you've probably also seen Greg Bertinelli, the dude from the Arrowverse, and also an producer of Riverdale and stuff. He has lost his mind. Pretty much every show, not all of them, but pretty much every show of the Arrowverse started off pretty good in their first season. Arrow, The Flash, even Supergirl was pretty good. And you know, but then what happened? After a couple of seasons in, the dude lost his mind. And so Roberto, he has not learned from none of his mistakes in the past from both Riverdale and Sabrina. His fingerprints are all over this show, except for the cringe. The cringe is not there in the dialogue. Thank God he has learned his lesson there. But, and he has also learned his lesson when it comes to like race, I guess you could say. But, now, the LGBT thing in here is confusing. I'll get to that later. Because I don't even really think there is any, to tell you the truth, except for one couple for sure. But they made you think these other 2 people were also. However, he didn't write every episode in this show. He wrote a couple. But like I said before, his fingerprints are still there. Mainly when it comes to that sexuality, sexual assault, older people trying to get with teenagers and everything. Teenagers are constantly like, you know, wanting to do it, drinking, let's see what else. Just like nudity. Oh my God, like enough of that man booty already and stuff. And it's like, why do I need to see adults playing teenagers completely butt naked? I'll tell you why, because this man has lost his mind, but he has not learned his lessons yet. Like I said, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Riverdale, his fingerprints are all on this stinking crap. And that was made for some of the bad writing on this show and everything. I'll give it up to Marlene King. Even in like the rough and bad days of the original Pretty Little Liars, it's still a million times better than Original Sin because at least it was consistent in its writing to a certain point. And except for the spin-offs, those were just terrible. But yeah, back to this show. So it's like I finally has now watched this, and I got into the third episode. I'm like, okay, the third episode's pretty okay. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe this is gonna be awesome. But then the writing is so weird. There's so much plot armor that things just happen for the sake of happening, and things correlate with that thing that happened. Originally, I thought it was going to have like a slasher vibe, 'cause that's what it had in the first two episodes. But the slasher vibe really isn't there for the rest of the episode. Mainly, it's just A stalking them, which is another weird thing. How in the world, like, the way A stalks them is ridiculous. Not even in a slasher movie is it this ridiculous and stuff. At least in the original Pretty Little Liars, those A's were able to like walk around freely because they were teenagers and everything, and people knew them, so people didn't suspect them and everything. But here is just strange and bizarre, especially with the whole Jason Myers type mask and how he's always standing, like, ready to like get somebody. And I'm just like, Lord Jesus, have mercy. Like, this is just so weird. Like, and then the whole disappearing, reappearing at the pep rally with the thing that, like seriously, hiding under the bleachers in the pep rally. How in the world do people not see that? How does it get in and out? Inside people's homes, standing right next to them, walking right past them, walking right past them during a Halloween party, killing somebody. Like how? And in the first, I'll say 6 episodes. Let's see how many people died. 1, 2, 3 people died. I'm not counting the girl from like the 90s and stuff. And another problem with this show is, like I told you before, it connects to that of the original series, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Katie King or whatever her name is, and Riverdale. All them, Rosewood and The Perfectionist. All them shows are now connected. So what year exactly is this show in and everything? Because we gotta remember, in Pretty Little Liars in the last season, they did that time jump for about 5 years. And then it jumped even further and get to The Perfectionist and everything. So what exactly year this show's set in and everything? Now, I will say this. Back to the why. Why? Like, this show... Okay, when you get to the third episode and the fourth episode, you get some sprinkles that something happened, especially in the opening. We're talking about sexual assault and suicides and this and that. Now, I knew that was going to happen because of the trailer. I'm like, God, I did not want to have to hear about this crap, see this crap. That's why I don't watch Game of Thrones. And if you're going to do it, then at least make it impactful and everything. And for the most part, it was written fairly well. The sexual assault stuff and the ramifications and this and that. But it wasn't done perfectly. It was still just kind of stupid. And so, like, at least the original series didn't even go down that, like, rabbit hole. The books did, because Toby, of all people, was getting Jenna and everything in the books. And so they left that part out in the show. Thank God and everything. And, I'm okay with this being a learning lesson because like once you get to the 5th episode, but this is the problem with it. Once you get to the 5th episode all the way to the 10th, then it's all about the sexual assault mystery. And so, but then the stuff that happened in the first 5 episodes, that just gets crammed in just because they have to finish telling that story. So it's kind of like, why did you deviate so greatly from one narrative to another disturbing narrative? And it's like, why? To be edgy and everything? It's kind of like, because that's the thing, this show had to be different and they wanted to make it edgy, but why did they have to include that? Now, this is what they could have done. I've said this before. If they wanted to be different and like edgy and all this other stuff from like the original series, then what they should have done was focus on the freaking parents and everything. That's why all this crap, like bad stuff, is happening because of what the parents did when they was teenagers in the 90s with that Angela Waters girl. All this is a result of that. But then the killer decides to terrorize their kids and everything. And it's like, why not just make this entire season about like the parents? That would have been different and stuff. And then they could have kept that slasher vibe to make it edgy. Or what they could have done was this. Screw the parents, keep the teenage kids that are current. And since they brought in this whole like sexual assault thing, made that the focus of the entire season and everything. Just don't bring it in halfway through, make it the entire season, and flip the script to where our group of liars, the female liars, make them A. Make them A and make them go after the guy that did all the assaulting and stuff. That would have been completely different from the original series. And I think people would have praised that a whole lot more than just dumping this in and then focusing the rest of the show on that. And then just cramming the rest of the first 5 episode storyline into like that as well. And it's like both storylines can't breathe if you're like, trying to tell both at the same time and everything. And they only have 10 episodes. That's the problem right there. The first series had about 20 something episodes. It had time to breathe. It had time for character development. With this show, everything is just rushed. Even to the point where the pacing is off sometimes. Like with Mouse and her weird storyline. Like when she's talking to the creepy guy and everything, she starts to think about some stuff and then she's like, well, hold up, this feels a little set up and everything. So then it cuts from that and it goes like to her mom and everything. And it's kind of like, wait, is this a flashback or no? No, it's current day because the pacing's weird. Now, each episode takes place during like a week's time. So there's a lot going on in that week, but here's the thing. From the very first episode to the very last, that's an entire school term and everything. From the fall when school's starting all the way down to December and everything. And it's like, man, that's some fast pacing right there and stuff like that. And so like, yeah. Now, I will say one improvement over the show from the original is that the teenagers actually dress like teenagers. Do they necessarily act like teenagers? Well, they still just act like teenagers in like a TV show. Not very realistic, very adult. Taking matters into their own hands and everything. And at one point in time, when it gets to the last 5 episodes, it starts to literally turn into 13 Reasons Why. To the point where one of the girls who gets like assaulted and everything, she's just like Hannah. For some bizarre reason, she keeps putting herself in all these dangerous situations that where something bad could like happen to her. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you go to this creepy place by yourself? Why would y'all go to this abandoned thing? Like they went to an abandoned train. There's like a bunch of train carts attached to themselves because a man lives there and he had information on what they needed. So they go there twice. It's like, dude, 1, he could kill you. 2, he could be A and everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like, why put yourself in that type of situation and everything? And like, oh god, what I was gonna say, I completely lost track now. Because I was thinking about the dude in the train, which is a stupid storyline. And so, like, it's just, I don't know, this show just suffers from bad writing, bad pacing, and stuff like that. And I'm gonna get into each character individually because that's just the only best way to do it, you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, it's just this show. Because here's the thing, I went in with an open mind. I told myself, you know what, I'm not going to try to compare it to the original series. Because you can't do that if you're going to try to enjoy it. And then once you start to watch it and see how different it is, then there's no point in like thinking about the old series. But then once you get to certain little things, then like, well, the original series kind of did that a lot better. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. And, oh, no, I know I was going to say, like, the whole... Okay, so remember Actually, I'll get into that when I do the individual stuff and everything, because that'll make more sense instead of talking about it right now. But yes, about the in this intro soon, I'm gonna get to each character. I'm gonna try my best not to talk about each character for a very long time because I don't want this video to be a very, very long video. But yeah, it's just this show just suffers from bad writing, and it suffers from the question of why, and everything. And it's like they didn't sit down and focus and come up with a better story. I could have came up with a better freaking story. Heck, I already told you two great like storylines that could have happened in either this show. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole second one I came up with, whole flipping the script and everything, where the girls end up being like and trying to like expose the guys and everything. That would have been perfect, and it would have been different. Before I get into the characters, I want to bring up the whole slasher movie vibe. It has it, but then it doesn't. It doesn't really kill that many people, and you go so many episodes with nobody dying. So you know, when it comes to like slasher, I'm expecting to see somebody die. Now there are tons of 80 movie references in here that gets a bit like annoying at times. Sometimes the screen will turn completely red and the girl will scream in the most bizarre kind of way ever. Very Hitchcock type. And I'm just like, you know, that style is outdated. It's over with. Don't put that in the show. It makes it weird and it takes you out of like the feels of it. You know what I'm saying? And so like this show has a lot of like dramatic horror music, but no real suspense that happened before it. It just happens out of like nowhere. Like someone come up behind you and you hear this like da-da-da, like music, you know what I'm saying? But they constantly do it. And it's not really scary because you didn't give me a reason to be scared. Now sometimes, ooh, my apologies. I burped. I'm so sorry. Now, sometimes they did give me a reason to be scared. I tell you the truth, the scariest person in here was the sheriff dude. He was scarier than A. He could have used some scary, creepy, suspense type music. Because every time I saw this dude, I thought he was going to kill his family and everything. Sometimes A came off scary, but for the most part, A came off kind of comedical because of how he was just always in the broad daylight and nobody saw his behind, you know? And so if they was gonna really commit to the horror slasher vibe, they really should have committed to it. But it came off more comical than like anything else. As for the cast, I like the cast. They're pretty cool and everything. Well, the actors and actresses and everything like that. This is modern television, so yeah, all the guys are either portrayed like as monsters or like, you know, nice guys, but kind of mushy, weak kind of nice guys, you know what I'm saying? The really, really nice guys are the ones who barely like appear in the show. And the other rest of the guys are either like terrible monsters or just like they're good but a little bad. However, I will say this. There is like a balance because some of the females in here are pretty terrible too. However, the men outweigh the females in terms of who's worse and everything. And a lot of the females, well, you know, you can just like spin that and say, oh, you know, well, they did this because of their age or this and that. But somehow they always find a way to turn it around or give a little sympathy to them. But they make the men into like just complete monsters. So that's just how it is in modern day television and stuff. And, you know, and it really sucks because not every man's a monster and not every man does what happens in this show. But, you know, it is what it is. But in terms of the moms, let's just get down with the moms. The first mom in the first picture, that is Farron's mom. The worst thing she did when in the 90s when it came to Angela was that she made her get a tattoo knowing her religious mom would be pissed. She said they're all gonna do it, but then as soon as Angela got hers, she ran out and then Angela got in trouble. The second mom is Tabby's mom. What she did was terrible is when Angela told her she got assaulted, Tabby's mom told the rest of the girls, but Imogen's mom's all like, oh, she messed with my boyfriend and lied on blah 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 stuff like that, and so we're just gonna ignore her. So she made the whole school just like ghost her, and so Tabby's mom didn't tell the police or nothing like that, and then of course Angela, offed herself and everything. Let's see, who is the next mom? Oh, that is Noah's mom, the drug addict and everything. What she did back in the 90s was she was smoking a cigarette and she tried to get Angela to do one, but she didn't. And then the what was it? Like the gardener, janitor dude from the school saw them, and then so she lied and said Angela was smoking and she wasn't, and Angela got in trouble. Let's see, who else? There's Mouse mom. Her and Mouse were secretly like doing it and everything until they got caught. And she's like, oh, she forced herself on me and everything. So that's a terrible thing she did in the 90s. And then last but not least, like I told you before, is Imogen's mom. And what Imogen did, well, her mom did was on Halloween, she made Angela throw poop on like one of the neighbors' door, and then they took off driving in the car and left her behind. These girls were terrible growing up to like that of Angela, and the question is, why in the world was Angela even friends with them? That don't make no sense. Like, they did some of the worst things to her. Oh, but don't worry, because some of the parents do terrible things to their kids when they get older, and I'll get into that when I get into the kids individually. As for the Pretty Little Liars themselves, Lord, the writing for them was terrible. Like, you know how like in Pretty Little Liars, they always have like this backstory as to what they did was bad or something they did in the present. The things they make the girls do this season is just baffling. It's just odd writing and everything. And it's just like, I get this. Some people do that in real life, but why would you write that for the show? Like, it'll be best, like, I don't know if the show focused only on that one thing or just something, man, but it was just some of the most bizarre things like ever that really didn't make no sense. And they tried to add some things that were kind of like empowering, but like the context just didn't make no sense as to why that scene happened and stuff. And Lord have mercy, Mouse and her online thing. Like, what the world, man? It's like they tried to think of the most outrageous thing to be so different from the original series. And they didn't have to go that far, that bizarre, and just that why. You know what I'm saying? Now, as for the actresses themselves, they're all right. Two of their acting it kind of throws me off a little bit. One overacts and the other one doesn't like, show that much expression and stuff. But just a little tweaking here and there and a little bit practice, they'd be a little bit better. It's just, it's not terrible. It's just one doesn't give that much emotion and one gives a little bit too emotion, you know what I'm saying? But the rest are okay and everything. But yeah, so let's get into some of these characters individually and start with some of them because it's a doozy, man. I will say this about the teen female Pretty Little Liar cast. It's kind of like, why are they called the liars for? Because to tell you the truth, they really don't lie. Like, they're pretty truthful. They keep secrets and stuff, yeah, but it's like they're not really like lying like the original cast. So that's kind of weird they call them that. That's why I hate, because they call this show Pretty Little Liars Original Sin. It should have just been called like Original Sin or something like that. But they wanted to use the name Pretty Little Liars to like, milk as much like nostalgia viewers as they can. And I hate when they do that crap. I guess I'll get into the guys. Why not? They're monsters. Why not? So you have Greg, and Greg is your typical jerk type guy. He's super horny. He's always saying nasty misogynist type stuff. He's dating Karen until she dies, and then he starts dating and making out with her twin sister Kelly. The dude has no shame, and so like he's really disgusting and says a whole lot of raunchy type stuff. And when Tabby wants him to film like a shower scene in a Speedo, he decides he's just gonna flash in the nude and have fun. She tells him this is not okay. Nobody asked to see that. It's not right. And she's right, you know what I'm saying? But he sees it as like fun and games. But in today's world, we have to teach guys, it's not funny to do that no more, especially with nobody's permission. If you don't have the permission, you just can't do it. Because not everybody wants to see that. But he doesn't care. And so, like, something else about him, I can't remember quite. Oh, now I remember. So basically, what he did, the same thing Chris Pratt did to Amy Poehler in the first seasons of Parks and Rec. If you have the DVD, then you see the blooper, and also the bloopers on YouTube of season one. Basically, what's this is that what happened was this: Amy Poehler opens the door. Chris Pratt's supposed to be on the other side, but he's supposed to be completely clothed. He decides he's going to be completely naked and everything. She's at a loss for words and doesn't even say nothing. You can see she does not like what she's seeing. She's disturbed. Apparently, what happened after that, I think he got in trouble with HR and everything, and he hasn't done that since and stuff like that. And so, like a lot of dudes think it's really funny and they flash, and a lot of dudes will say, well, women do it at Mardi Gras, so what's the point? And there has to be a fine line of just like nobody should just do that, period. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, he's one of the dudes who gets accused of like assaulting a girl, but he ain't doing anything. But he gets accused for it anyway. And so throughout the entire series, you think he's like a nasty, assaulter and everything, but he's not. And so like at the end, A and there, or one of the A's like shoot him and everything, but he survives and everything. And it's like you shot him, we think he's dead just to bring him back alive. Like, why? Just like let him die or something. It's supposed to be a slasher anyway, you know what I'm saying? Taylor. Take everything I said about Greg and times it by a million, and you have Taylor. He's really a terrible person and all this other stuff, and like he was talking to a drunken Karen, and she was complaining about Greg because Greg had kissed Imogen at the party, and that's what caused her to hate Imogen. So him and her start talking and flirting. He's recording it, and something about she wanted him to flash her. And he's all like, well, you do it first. So she's about to, but Imogen runs in and she stops the whole thing. She takes his phone, and this becomes a plot device later on in the season. And so Imogen's all like, I stopped him before he could have done anything worse. What he would have done, we don't know, because he didn't necessarily do anything and stuff like that. Now, she was drunk. He was probably tipsy or something like that. And so it's not really consensual because she was drunk and probably didn't know what the world she was doing and stuff like that. And so, but we still don't know. Like, he might have just like not done anything. You know what I'm saying? He might just wanted to record it or something like that, which is still wrong. But you know what I'm saying? He didn't like touch her or nothing like that. So of course he also gets accused of being an assaulter as well. A overhears this and murders him, but he didn't touch nobody and stuff like that. Wes, I think that's his name. He is the college guy who works at the movie theater with that of Chip and that of Tabby, and he has a crush on Tabby. I've already reviewed the first episode about when he tried to kiss her in the car and everything. She turned and like he got her cheek. And so I didn't know really what the world was going on. I thought they might be like in a relationship, but they're not. Basically, he keeps trying to get with her. And so remember the video I told you about of the drunken Karen and like Taylor and stuff, and so like Tabby edited it and then used it kind of like to shame and blackmail that of Karen. And so when Karen was later murdered and everything, her father, the sheriff, he wants the video and everything because he thinks the girls pushed her into suicide and all this other stuff, so it becomes that a plot device. He takes the flash drive and hides it from the cops. And then he tells Tabby, I'll give it to you, but you have to come to my place tonight. So, like an idiot, she goes there and everything. And he tries to groom her. He tries to make her dinner and sweet talk her, but he never touches her again. Throughout the rest of the season, he just is her boss and everything. And he's being nice to her. And But he still tried to get with an underage high school girl. He's not a good guy. But they kept trying to portray him as one and everything. And it's just so bizarre. Like, why do they always do this in teen dramas? And why does Roberto always have these adults trying to get with teens and everything? I don't get that. Let's get into the twins. Oh, Lord Jesus, they get on my nerve. These twins played by the same actress. Now, she did a good job. But here's the problem. They wrote the twins so weird. They're so wishy-washy. They flip-flop constantly. First, they like the group of girls. Then they hate them. Then they like them again. Then they hate them. Then they like them again. And it's over and over and over from beginning of the show to the end of the show. And it's like, pick a side, man. Do you hate them or do you like them? So basically, it's just bickering. It's just like, they're friends with the girls, but then every once in a while they get mad at them and they try to ruin their lives, but then they feel bad and they start being friends again. And it's a constant battle between both twins and the group of girls, but one twin ends up dying in the first episode, I told you. And so, like, the other girl, who's normally the nice one, she keeps flip-flopping a lot. And so you don't know, like, whose side, like, she's on. She has a problem. She likes to cut herself and everything. And one of the girls, Farron, tries to help her. And even though Farron tries to help her, she's a ballerina dancer, and she's not very good. And Farron is. And so she tries to ruin Farron by revealing a secret. After the girls say, look, man, instead of cutting yourself, just call me and I'll be there for you. And it's like she's a terrible person, but then she keeps flip-flopping. But she has a terrible father. And so she knows her father's secret, but she don't know to the extent. She knows he messes around with men, but she don't know exactly who. And because it's a secret, because he's married to her mom. Her father's very abusive verbally and stuff. Her father hates her, like Kelly and everything. And so at one point she gets chased by like the killer and everything, and she thinks it's one of the girls, but one of the girls aren't 6 foot tall, so I don't understand that. And so basically, she shows up when the big climax stuff happens. It distracts one of the A. They shoot Greg, and then everything's hunky-dory afterwards. They have Christmas together. And it's just so weird because they keep flip-flopping on their personalities and everything. Let's get into her father. Sheriff something. I forget his last name. I think it's Bisbee or something like that. Anyway, this dude is the worst. He is an extremely angry, extremely pissed off man 24/7. He messes around with teenage boys. Seriously, Roberto, why do you keep doing this? And so, like, when his daughter dies, he's adamant about arresting those girls. He seriously thinks it's them until they realize that it's not. But he still makes their lives miserable. Every time they have to go to the police for something, they can't go because he is the sheriff, but they still have to go anyway. And he always tries to like not do his job and everything like that. He's always threatening the girl. He's very verbally abusive to his daughter and his wife. And so like, it turns out, remember when I said when Angela was assaulted right before like the prom and everything? It turns out it was him when he was younger and everything. When he went to high school with them. He also dated Imogen's mom, which caused Imogen's mom to get pissed at Angela. So yes, this man is not only a sexual assaulter, but he's also a pedophile and everything. And so he is a terrible man. Why do all the men have to be terrible in all these shows? I don't get that. And so like he gets so pissed where he literally makes his wife and daughter stay in the house, and he's all like, you're not going anywhere to blah blah blah. And he even holds a gun and getting ready to like shoot one of them until the wife finally has a backbone and she stabs him over and over in the stomach. Well, he survives that somehow. Like, seriously, he survived, but he only survived for a short moment in time. Like, what? How did he survive all them stabbings in the stomach? But he survived it, only for A to later kill him in the hospital bed and everything. Because A wants revenge for Angela. Anybody who wronged Angela or wronged anybody at that, A wants revenge. So what was the point in killing him seemingly, and then next thing you know, bringing him back to life, and then, oh wait, killed him again? Like, that don't make no sense. Okay, let's get into this one, Pretty Little Liar, because her storyline was just like, what the world, man? Mouse. They call her Minnie Mouse. That's what the parents call her because they like Disney movies. Mouse is a lesbian, and she has two lesbian mothers, and she's never met her mom. All these girls come from broken homes. It's like the writer's trying to tell us something about themselves and everything, you know? And so, like, the thing with her is that one of her mom, her biological one, will not allow her to go anywhere or for too long. The other moms, like, you can stay out at 10:30 at night, blah blah, stuff like that. Reason for that, we find out that when she was little, some man tried to snatch her, and so she doesn't know who this man is. And so she ends up befriending a guy named Ash. And then at some point in time, they start to date. And I'm just kind of confused. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Isn't Ash a dude and she's a lesbian? So what's going on with that? And so, like, Ash even said, you know, join the LGBT club thing. It's like, okay, isn't he gay or something like that? So what the world is going on? And then so before the big reveal, I was listening to the voice of Ash. I'm like, that sounds kind of girly almost. So then I started looking at him. I'm just like, And then he reveals, you know, he's transgender and everything. And he said, you know, his mom's accept that and everything. And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Because, like, I thought he was, like, born a dude and stuff like that. And so I was like, why is, like, you know, Mouse dating a guy and she's a lesbian? I'm like, did I miss something? And so, but I'm confused now. If she's a lesbian and he's a transgender dude, doesn't that defeat the purpose of like being a lesbian? It has to, doesn't it? Or I'm just like not understanding something. Like it has to. Like I'm so confused. Anyway, Ash is really nice. He's like one of the nicest dudes in the show and everything. And that's very rare because there aren't that many nice guys in this show. There's only 3 I can think of. And so, like, remember how I said each Pretty Little Liar has something, that secret they keep? In the original series, their secrets they kept affected their parents and them and other people they liked. It made sense. Here it's just weird and bizarre. So at some point in time when it's Halloween, she is talking to a guy online. And she goes to hang out with him and puts on an outfit. And she's all like, you can call me Rachel, which is not her name. And he's like, okay, you can call me Dad. What the world's going on here? It's some online guy, a random online guy she has befriended. And I'm just like, oh, Jesus Christ, you're going back to the early 2000s with this crap of like online people are dangerous and everything. And it's like, you know, yes, there are online people that are dangerous, but for the most part, a lot of people date online and meet online now. So it's not as scary as it used to be, you know what I'm saying? But what the world is going on with them? So apparently his daughter is missing named Rachel, and he's a very creepy man. He never touches her like sexually, nothing like that. But he's very creepy. So at some point in time, she gets so freaked out by him that she says she doesn't want to hang out with him no more. But then all of a sudden she does again. And then so all of a sudden, when she's bowling with Ash, there he is. He's now stalking her. He shows up everywhere she goes. She's freaked out. She's pissed off. She tells him and everything, leave me alone. He's all like, look, man, I'm the one who met your mom and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And she told me about you and this and that. And so then all of a sudden she starts to think. She asked her mom, like, yo, who's the dude who tried to kidnap me? I thought it was the crazy, scary dude. But then the mom didn't want to tell her. So she tricks her mom into telling her. Her mom tells her it's your father. And she's all like, I thought y'all, like, you know, got like a donor or something like that or some crap like that. And the mom's like, no, we found this couple and he donated his sperm. But then he later wanted you and I never let him see you. And so now she's having like these messed up daddy feelings. So she goes and she looks for her father. And being the nasty man he is, he's all like, I have a family now. I don't want you in my life. Who is he? William Shatner? Look it up. And so like that hurts her so bad. She goes back to her online pretend daddy and everything. And so then the dude gets creepy again. And then so she introduces him the second time to Ash. The first time Ash wanted to fight him and everything because he was kind of a little creepy. But then they were bowling and then the dude freaked out and left. So then she talked to him to see what's wrong. He takes her to a hotel, and it turns out that he found his real daughter Rachel, and she's dead. Now he's pissed because he was playing pretend daddy. But then he tells her, put on this like polka dotted dress because he's still being his creepy self. Anyway, the two moms and Ash track her cell phone, and like, oh wait, before that happens, the other moms are like, I told you to stop being so paranoid, this and that. So she kicks the biological mom out the house, and they're having a rocky time. But then in a way, Mouse goes missing. The two moms and Ash track her down, and there's the guy sitting on the bed, and he's just sad, looking at a picture of his daughter. And they're all like, Mouse, what the world's going on here? And she's all like, it's over, mom, because I'm putting an end to this and everything, because she's so empowered now. It's like, dude, what the world was you hanging out with him for? Talking about she felt bad and she tries to help people who has missing kids, and you don't do that. You don't play pretend and everything like that with a complete stranger and a man. That is so creepy. What the world? What the writers thinking? Yes, this happens in real life, but my God, did this have to be shown on a show? It would have been okay if it was like a cyber show or something like this is supposed to happen, but this? Come on now. Noah, she is the girl dating some guy, and for the most part she's really nice, but she starts off as being this girl who has to do like drug tests, and she has an ankle monitor because she's on what's that thing called, juvie and everything. And that's when she spots the sheriff doing it with like younger boys and stuff. And so it turns out she covered for her mom. Her mom is a drug addict and everything, and she didn't want her mom to get in trouble. So in a way, she tells her mom, you have to get clean, you have to do this and this and that. Her mom's like, no, I can do it by myself. And so what happens? She tells her boyfriend, the boyfriend berates the mom gets upset. She's all like, well, I'm gonna stop working at the hospital and I'm gonna work at a pizza shop. Yeah. So anyways, so at some point in time, she has to do like track and field, but she has a breathing problem. So her coach tells her, hey, take this inhaler. She tells her boyfriend, and her boyfriend, she's all like, what's in this thing? He's all like, it's probably something to like help you out. She's like, what are you talking about? Like an enhancement? Steroids? Drugs? He's like, well, everybody does it here at the school and everything. She's like, well, I'm not going to do it. But then she finds out her boyfriend, who keeps denying it, is taking steroids himself. So he is a hypocrite for like berating her mom, and he takes drugs too. There are no nice guys in this show. And so like, but for the most part, they get along and everything. Now, at some point in time, the killers, this is the thing about A. A is so weird, texting them and everything. It's all like, oh, rat your mom out. No. Silence is something. And so she's all, and then, A tells them, you tell anybody about me, I'll kill you, blah, blah. You don't do what I say, blah, blah, blah. So she calls the police on her mom and gets her mom fired from like the hospital for stealing drugs and everything, because that's what A wanted. But right before, the killer chased her. So A chases her, and once again, the killer is 6 foot tall, 230 pounds of muscle. And this 5 foot something girl, soaking wet 100 something pounds, is able to outrun him and fight him off and kick him. But that's not the most ridiculous thing that happened. She has to jump across to the next building because she's in an apartment, right? The killer is coming towards her, but she needs room for momentum. So she runs really fast towards the killer, ducks down, turns around, and then takes off running and jumps across to the next building. That was the weirdest chase scene I ever seen. In the way it was like film was just even weirder. Lord, this show is bizarre. Anyways, I can't really think of anything else she really did as of like significance and everything. So let's get into Farron. It's this very proper, very prim, very posh ballerina at school. Her family's a little broken. Her mom doesn't live there at the house. She's like a lawyer. The dad is like really nice to her. And so she loves to dance, and she's one of the best dancers there. But it's an uphill battle between the twins and the madam. I forget the lady's last name. The instructor lady. It's just, every time one of the girls accuse her of something, I was like, oh, Farron said this to me and hurt my feelings. Farron, you're off Swan Lake and everything. So it's an uphill battle, right? But she's really good. And so she dates this one guy in the show. He's really nice. I forget his name, but he's one of the few nice guys in this show. Her dad is the third nice guy that I told you about. And so, of course, the nice guys barely show up in the show and they just pop in and pop out. And so, like, it turns out that, like, she has a scar on her back and she wants to cover it up with the outfit she's due for, like, her ballerina stuff. It turns out that her mom convinced her to get surgery for her scoliosis. That's her big secret. She has scoliosis. So when this recruited person heard that she has scoliosis and still can dance, she's even more intrigued and wants to, like, recruit her and stuff like that. But there's a problem. She's still going through, like, the pain and everything. And so, like, her boyfriend tells the mom and everything, because, see, the mom pushes her to be perfect and everything. And so her mom's all like, we should get that scar, like, removed with surgery and everything. The dad's all like, only if she wants to. And the girl's like, you know what? Mom wants to, so why not? But her and her mom don't get along at all. Her mom wants her to live with her up in Pittsburgh. And she's like, no, I'm not leaving daddy. And everything. And so, like, she's thinking about getting the surgery. She goes to talk to the doctor and he's all like, you'll be out of, like, for 6 months and you won't be able to dance and you're going to be in some excruciating pain and everything, right? And so, like, so she's going to miss the dancing thing, but she's like, I'll just fight through the pain, whatever. Well, A reveals to her about her surgery she had years ago. Turns out her mom lied to her. The doctor said she should not have it. She'll be in so much pain for the rest of her life, have chronic pain. Well, next thing you know, she finds the documents and everything that says that. She confronts her mom. She is pissed and everything. Her mom put her through all that pain for nothing. And so she decides, you know what? She's going to expose her mom for that. And then she takes a picture with her scar. It horrifies her mom that, people are looking at her child like this. And the mom gets into, like, a car wreck. And so after that, her dad gets, like, arrested by, like, one of the cops. And so they try to turn into, like, a black awareness thing, but it didn't go nowhere. And it happened off screen. And I'm just like, why tell us that if you're not going to, one, show us, and two, it didn't go nowhere. They just needed him to do something and say, ooh, cops are bad. And then so they did that. And it was pointless. Let it be, have some meaning to it, like, show what happens afterwards and everything, show why it happened and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But then this is what's really weird in, like, the show. So, okay, so Farron, when they're all in trouble and everything about that tape, she tells Mouse and she tells Noah, hey, we should just, like, lie and say it was the other two girls who wanted to, like, do the tape and, like, rat them out so we can save ourselves. And so she's all selfish like her mom and everything. But this is what's something that's weird that happened with her in the show. Throughout the entire season, she has long, straight hair. But then one day she gets out the shower and she says she sees her hair is curly. So she decides, you know what? I'm going to start wearing my hair curly. I'm going to start wearing it natural. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, but she's all like, this is the new me, letting my hair down, blah, 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 blah. And then so now finally her and Tabby finally talking the entire season, which those two really don't interact at all because Imogen mostly hangs out with Tabby. So the two black girls in the show really never talk, but now both their hair are curly and now all of a sudden they're talking. Roberto, seriously, man, you don't understand race. And with a name like that, you think you would. And so I'm thinking to myself, what brought on her wanting to have curly natural hair now? Nothing. Now, it would have made more sense if, say, like, people are making fun of her, saying, "Oh, you're not black enough because your hair not curly, and you think you're white, and you talk like a white girl, and you do ballerina like a ballet like a white girl." Blah blah. That would have made more sense if people got on to her about that. But nobody has ever gotten on to her about that, and she gets upset at her boyfriend. She's all like, "How come you didn't tell me my hair looked nice?" And he's all like, "Well, I didn't want to offend you." How would that offend her and everything? And he's all like, "You look very beautiful and everything." So she's like, thanks. But I'm just thinking to myself, now here's the thing. You can have natural curly hair if you want to. It don't matter. You can go straight one day, curly the next. Tracy Ross Ellis, she does it like all the time. But it's like, and so anybody can do it, but it's like when she looked at her hair and saw it was curly and she gave like a certain like look in the mirror that made you think, you know what? I'm gonna start wearing my natural curly hair so everybody can see the real black me. That's how it made it seem. But nothing brought this on. So it was just like a weird kind of moment, and she made a big deal out of it for nothing with her boyfriend and stuff. And like I said before, it doesn't matter which way you wear your hair and everything, but like one reason why this is such a hot topic now is that more and more black women are wearing their hair naturally and curly, mostly in TV shows and magazines and models and stuff like that. Celebs for the most part, because you really won't see like women walking down the street like that and stuff for the most part. And so, but it's mostly just celeb women, and they're doing that to like, reclaim their like, their blackness and everything. They're letting everybody know, look, I am black. I'm a black woman. I'm a strong black woman. I wear my hair natural like my people and my ancestors like back in the day. Because a lot of black women who have their hair straight get accused of trying to like look white or something like that. And so with what been going on in the year 2020 and everything with the Black Lives Matter stuff, you saw more and more celeb women, especially on TV and magazines, having their hair naturally and curly. It's like, it's supposed to be like a statement, like a movement, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't understand what brought this on in the show. And so it just happened for the sake of happening, because it was like Roberto's like, black awareness and everything. It's like your daddy got pulled over by a cop and the cops were white and your daddy is black. And here you are making a statement with your hair. I understand black people finally. So I can tell that one actress from my Riverdale show, she don't know what she's talking about. Nah, dude, you still don't understand it. Like you're a man of color and you don't understand people of color. You're a gay man and you still write gay people in your show either like really bad or you try to rush their storylines. It's like you don't get it. And stuff like that. Okay, these next characters, man, they're gonna be a doozy right here. So we have Tabby and everything, and she's like the movie buff. She loves horror movies, and she's also an advocate. She's an advocate for like black people and women and stuff like that. And so, like I told you, she's really good friends with Chip. That's like her best friend, but she don't like him like that. But he really likes her. And then of course her boss, who's older than her, really likes her too. And so she keeps putting herself in weird situations with him and hanging out with him, but he's a very creepy grooming type man, right? And so like, she's best friends with Imogen and they live together because Imogen's mom died. And so, she has to live with her and stuff like that. So her and Imogen pretty much do everything. When they have to go and investigate in Rosewood of all places, they skip school and they get like a fancy hotel that costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars. That's not realistic, and they're teenagers. And they also go to like a club at one point. And it's like, how did the world did they get in? And what is Imogen drinking? She's pregnant. So anyway, so by the third episode, we start to see she starts to act weird. She's having flashbacks or something. And so when it comes to her school, she's in like film class and she doesn't like it how her white teacher never wants to recommend a movie by a black director, stuff like that. And so at some point she's doing Psycho, but she wants to reverse Psycho. She wants to, see, this tells you Roberto don't know what the world he's talking about. She says she wants to reverse the roles. Instead of it's a man always killing a woman and getting pleasure out of that, it's going to be the woman killing the man. Well, they kind of did reverse it in Bates Motel when Norman Bates, instead of killing a woman, he killed the guy in the shower scene and everything. And so it's already been done, but it's never been done with a woman killing a man. Unless, of course, you watch the movie Urban Freaking Legend. That slasher movie had a female killer, and she killed men just as much as she killed women and everything. So, Roberto, like, I don't know. Like, watch more movies and TV shows, man, and stop making like all these like dudes and girls nude on your show that's supposed to be teenagers. Speaking of which, so remember when I said she was videotaping guys in the locker room and they're completely butt naked and everything? I'm just like, why? Why is she doing that? And two, Roberto, man, why? Why do you always have to show naked teenagers on the show? Why? Yeah, they're adults playing them, but they're teenage characters. Why do we need to see that? We don't need to see that. So you keep seeing naked man booty in this show. And so, well, why is she spying on these guys and everything? Well, with the flashbacks, remember I told you she starts to get mad at Taylor and Greg? She starts accusing them and stuff. When she has Greg do the movie and she's like berating him and everything. One of the things she says that like, okay, Weston, what's his face? West likes like slasher movies, but she said, you know what? A lot of these slasher movies is always sexually assaulting women and everything, and she hates that. And that is true because she mentioned the Evil Dead, the first movie, when that rape scene happened with the tree doing that woman and everything. And it's like, why? Why would you do that? Now it's to show that like the demons are that perverse and everything, but you don't have to show it, you know what I'm saying? And so I get what she's saying and everything. And she said, you know, older slasher movies do that like a lot. And it's, but some reason, it's always the man chasing the woman with the knife and everything. So she wants to like do the reverse and everything. So she gets mad at like Greg and everything during the movie. And then when she had like a PTS panic attack, she went outside and then what's his face? Chip. He went to go finish the rest of her movie. She got pissed at Chip talking about this is supposed to be a female killer and a female like led director and you ruined it by being the man and blah 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 and stuff like that. But he finished her movie because she freaked out, but he didn't know why she freaked out. So then it gets revealed when she tells Imogen and everything that she was assaulted in the woods. She went to Karen's party. She had something to drink. Oh no, she went to Karen. No. I'm thinking of the wrong thing. She did go to Karen's party, but this is something else. She went to a bonfire in the woods with some teenagers. And so she had a drink. And then next thing you know, she started to feel dizzy. She tried to go home, walking in the woods of all things, instead of like, you know, grabbing another girl, be like, hey, something's wrong with me, help me, call the police, do something, you know what I'm saying, or drive me home. But she decides to walk in the middle of the night through the woods by herself. And no, I'm not blaming her, but it's just like, you don't do things like that. You don't walk into the woods in the middle of the night, especially if you're a teenager. If you just had something to drink and you feel woozy, you don't walk into the woods. You call 911 or something like that, you know, or you grab somebody else and they have to help you. And so she got attacked and everything. She told Imogen that. But then Imogen's all like, tells her what happened to her and everything. And they're like, I bet it's the same guy and everything. And I'm just thinking to myself, what makes them think it's the same guy? That's just kind of a stretch. I mean, yes, there are serial assaulters and everything, and they do assault many people, but what are the odds? It's gonna be two best friends that where a killer is chasing them, two best friends that where both their moms knew each other and something happened back in the day. Like that's a bit of a stretch, but you know, like whatever and stuff. And so then this is what happened with the last 5 episodes. They tried to figure out like who is the, you know, assaulter and everything. And they have a very weird way of trying to like figure it out. Like they went the extra mile of trying to figure it out, but it's like you didn't have to go through all that trouble. It's an easier way. But anyway, she never told her mom and she never told nobody and she never told the sheriffs. And so she's afraid to go tell the police because, you know, the sheriff dude is nasty. But then Imogen's all like, well, you can talk to this one female cop and she's really nice. So she goes to like talk to her. But then the mean sheriff dude stops her and talks to her and does the whole threatening thing. So she gets scared and doesn't do it. At some point in time, her mom figures it out. And she has to tell her mom. Her mom gets very like sad and protective over that. So she thinks Wes is trying to groom her. And she literally goes to Wes and she's all like, I will chop your you know what off and everything. That was a great line. And stuff. And so basically they find out who the assaulter is, who got both her and Imogen and everything, because they had to trick him into telling. Because I'll get into the whole DNA thing when I get to Imogen very, very soon. And so they find out it's him and everything. And so let's get into Imogen. And so Imogen, on one time, so we find out why she's been recording guys in the locker room. She tells them because, because basically she's trying to want one of the guys to confess to her. Her mom finds out and is pissed. But she gets no repercussions from it because she turns it back on her mom like, well, you've been keeping secrets from me and blah, blah, blah. Okay, one, you don't record people naked in the locker room. You have to be some type of repercussions. But every time a girl does something like this in the show, she never gets no repercussion. It's similar to what happened in the sex lives of college girls and stuff. But anyway, she keeps accusing Greg and Taylor and everything. And they didn't even like do her. It's like she doesn't like her and Imogen have no idea who got them because they can't remember nothing. But she keeps thinking it's Greg and she keeps thinking it's Taylor, and she got Taylor killed because of it. And so like um yeah, and then she keeps accusing Greg. But here's the thing about Taylor. Then she later on tells somebody, no, it couldn't have been Taylor because I cyber stalked him all summer and he was out of town. So it's like, when did you cyber stalk his page? Did you do it? Like, this happened in March. And so summer happened. Okay, so this is the thing. I forget, like I told you before, it jumps through month by each episode or so, or at least a holiday. So it happened in March. So it happened the last school term. Then summer happened. They're already in the fall and in the winter. So that means that she cyber stalked him all summer, and she knew it was not him. Then why did she still accuse him of like doing stuff like that if she knew for a fact it wasn't him? This is why I say the writing is so bad and so off. She knew this all along, and yet she still accused him and everything, and it got him killed. Oh, something I wanted to point out. The actress who plays Imogen. I am so proud of her. I still remember when I saw her as female Max from Wizards of Waverly Place. And I remember she used to crack me up as like female Max and everything. And her acting has come like a long way, because back when she was female Max, she was really young, really new, and her acting was like hit or miss at the time, you know what I'm saying? And then she did like The Haunting Hour, and it started to get like a bit better and stuff. And I think she did something called like The Good Witch or something like that. And like Once Upon a Time, and her acting has come like a long, long, long way to where she has become like so much better and everything. And and it's really cool. Like I've always tell like my watchers and stuff, like with certain people in the past whose acting I never liked, if you just keep at it, keep practicing, and like do more roles and keep practicing your craft, you'll get like so much better and stuff. So when I reviewed the first episode, I'm all like, why in the world would Roberto make a pregnant girl like the hero of the show and all this other crap? Well, there's a reason for that. It later gets revealed she was assaulted by the same person who was assaulted by that Tabby. And so the thing about Imogen is that, like I said before, her mom killed herself in the first episode, and A is like going after them. And so Imogen is the main person investigating, and she's doing a really good job, but some of her leads just happen because of plot armor. Both her and Tabby go to Rosewood. See, Tabby was not Tabby, but Imogen was upset because her house is about to get sold. So she scares some like buyers, and then she tries to buy the house herself by staging a party and charging people tons of money. I don't know where these teenagers getting all this money from, but she has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars and everything, close to like 1,000. So she found one man who knew like the Angela girl back in the day. So she goes and talked to him. He's a homeless man living in a train. Yeah, a homeless man living in a train. So, like an idiot, her and Tabby go there by themselves. And he's a creepy man, and she pays him money to tell them stuff. And he tells them about how, like, he doesn't know it's their mothers, but he's all like they were some rude girls and everything, and like they brainwashed Angela. See, he used to have a crush on Angela, and until Angela did the whole mean girl thing with the group of girls and everything, and they treated her like crap. Then of course she killed herself, and so he's all like her mom was hysterical. Her mom had a breakdown, went to Rosewood in that mental ward. So they go there. They go there to talk to that Lamb dude. And so the hotel costs a lot of money to stay. Like it's a big hotel, like a Hilton hotel. And they're able to pay for it. So they're having a good old time while they're there and stuff, you know? Oh, I forgot to mention something about Tabby. So while she's there, she meets this one dude from Rosewood who's a high school student. He's nice. She likes him, and then she starts daydreaming of making out with him, but then he starts attacking her. It's just a daydream. So she doesn't do that. She tells him, I'm not interested. He's like, okay, cool. You think he's a nice guy. Then later on in the carnival, he shows up with some of his football players, and he's being rude to the football players at the high school Imogen them go to. And it's just like, they're no nice guys. So anyway, Imogen talks to like the Lamb dude, and so this is the first tie-in to the original Pretty Little Liars show. It's played by a different actor. He's older now. I don't know why, because this show I went online. I did the timeline thing. Pretty Little Liars, after they did their 5-year jump and 6-year jump, then of course the Perfectionist. That was in the year 2020. This show takes place in 2022. This guy should not be this old. So they did some really bad casting with this. I don't know why they just didn't get the original guys. Anyway, he tells them that, the mom was here and people kept seeing her. And they kept signing in as A. Waters and everything. And it was the group of mothers and everything when they was younger. But there was a sixth person. So who's the sixth and everything? Of course, we know who the sixth person is. It's the dude who was probably in love with her, but turns out and stuff like that. But I think it was somebody else. Anyway, so they head back, and at some point in time, they go into a club of all things. She's pregnant. Well, in a way, Chip starts to have a crush on her for some reason, and he's all like, I've always liked you, blah blah blah. When did this happen? Her and Chip have never talked and everything, and so he's trying to be he's like, I'm gonna be there for you. So he's falling in love with her, wanting to be like a daddy and this and that. How? He was in love with Tabby and stuff, and so but he's trying to be the best dude he can for her and stuff, and it's just that's noble, but he's a teenager. You won't see that in real life. You're not going to see a complete stranger teenager boy crushing on his friend's best friend and then try to be like her baby daddy and stuff. In a way, they have a project where they have that little fake baby. A ends up stealing it. And so she's all I don't need to keep this kid. I can't even keep a fake baby. So him and her go to an adoption agency. And so, she's going to give the baby up. And so she's still doing the investigation stuff and all this other crap, and so she's really getting close and closer to finding out who A is and her mom. And so she wanted to do an autopsy on her mom, but A stole the body. But then she tells her friends what happened to her when she got assaulted at the party. See, what happened was the party with Karen party, after all that stuff happened, she decided to take a bottle of alcohol. She goes out to the beach. She gets drunk. She passes out. She wakes up. She's bleeding down there and her underwear gone. She got assaulted, and that's how she got pregnant and everything. And I'm just I get it. They want to be edgy, but why do they have to do this storyline? Now, it's a powerful storyline, the whole assault thing. Why couldn't the show just be all about that, or another show? You know what I'm saying? Or have the whole show be about that? So they have a weird way of figuring out who's gonna be the how they're gonna find the assaulter. Gonna get a DNA test. They assume it's one of the jocks and everything, somebody on the football team. So they have a blood drive coming up. So they're gonna try and trick all the guys on the football team to get like a sample of their blood and everything. And they're gonna get Kelly's help. But here's the problem with that. Noah's boyfriend already said those guys aren't gonna take get no blood because they take steroids and stuff. And so the girls are like, you know what? We can get the samples another way. What if we go to the locker room and we get like samples of their DNA other way? So they get their mouth guards, they get their razors, they get their hairbrushes, they get hair from the drain, and they also get the blood cotton balls. You know what I'm saying? When you donate, when you get like a needle on you, and then you have to put a cotton ball there to stop it in a band-aid and stuff. So they get a bunch of cotton balls that have blood on it. Here's the problem with their plan. They're not tagging and bagging nothing. So how do they know which guy DNA sample they got when it comes up to be a positive match and everything? And not only that, but like Imogen's baby isn't even born yet. So how did they even get a sample of the DNA from the baby? But somehow the lab in the hospital is able to do that, and somehow. And so they have a match, but they don't know which dude is from. And they say it's from one of the cotton balls and stuff. So it's not a jock. It's another guy who gave blood. But then here's the thing I'm saying. How would they even know which guy it is? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so that didn't make no sense. It would have made more sense for them to go to the police, go to the principal and be all like, look, this happened to me. I need to sample people's DNA. If they say no, go to the press, make this blow up to where they'll have to do it then. But then they kept saying this is not going to hold up in court, which, you know, I don't understand why not. And this is exactly the U.S. justice system, man. It's designed to let people get away with crap, mostly men. And so, like, they realized, okay, if it's not a jock, it has to be one of the guys that gave blood. Well, Tabby's mom told her it's probably somebody you know. So this now causes Tabby to start remembering stuff. And she remembers that Chip tried to kiss her at one point at the party. So now she thinks, oh, all these other guys I've been blaming the wrong person. It's actually Chip. And so they go to his house and they're looking for Imogen's underwear. They can't find it. But they find that he has tons of slasher movies that deal with women getting assaulted. So they're like, they have to trick him. So they corner him, they pressure him, and he confesses. He says, oh, he's so in love with Tabby and everything. And because he's so in love with Tabby and Tabby won't let him have her, that's why he took it by force. And Imogen, he also likes too. And he was just going there to the beach just to hang out because he was sad because Tabby didn't want him. So he went and got her. And it's like, dude, what is wrong with you? You don't do that crap. And not only that, but he was an actual nice guy on the show, and I had a feeling he was too nice. They're gonna do something with that character and everything, because why is he all in love with Imogen now? And because he is the one who got her and everything, got her pregnant. And I'm just like, are there no nice guys in the show that are like recurring main characters other than those three that are barely in the show? And so, yeah, he is the one who did this. He's a terrible guy now. And so A shows up and chases him out. And then the girls all like, he did the same thing what happened to Angela. So go get him. And so the killer goes after him. And they sick the killer on this dude. And so he captures them. And then he gets away with like everything because it didn't like hold up, or his parents bailed him out, only for A to show up, knock on, like, this is so random. A knocks on the door, he opens the door, and Ace kills him. And it's like, okay, finally he got his due, but in just a weird climactic kind of way. So in the big climactic thing and everything, like, as like, you know, A decides, oh, I'm gonna chase Imogen and everything. She's pregnant. How the world is she able to run? And this is not the first time she had to run from the killer too. And it's like, how is she able to do this? But anyway, before that, she goes to the train guy because like she remembered something. Her mom had like used to give like food to the homeless during Thanksgiving, and they saw Angela's mom there. And so at some point in time, they went back to the train guy. He said, "Leave him alone. Y'all are getting too close," or something like that. Anyway, she goes to the house of Angela Waters' mom's house. She finds Angela's mom dead body there. She finds the mask of the killer. And the house looks disgusting. And in comes the train guy. And he's all like, "I told you just to leave this alone." So then he chases her with a knife. She's able to not only outrun him being pregnant, but fight him off. So then, once again, her and the girls, they go back to the train to confront this guy because she don't think he did it. And then he hangs himself. But there was nothing for him to stand on, but nobody noticed that. Anyway, back to the climactic thing. She's running from the freaking killer of all things. Cause the killer wants to kill her and the baby. She is able to outrun a 6 foot tall man. Not only is she able to outrun, but she's able to outsmart and outfight a 6 foot tall man who's over 230 pounds of muscle and stuff. And she's a 5 foot something girl who's pregnant. How is she able to outchase him? How is she able to put up a fight? And how is she able to stab him over and over and in the neck? How? But anyway, she gives her baby up for adoption, and you'll never guess who she gave it to. Off screen, Ezra and Arya. Yes, the couple from the original Pretty Little Liars. Who are they? Well, Ezra was a grown man and the teacher of Arya, and Arya was his teenage student who he dated for the entire series. Then when she turned 18, he married his student. This is what Marlene King came up with because she lost her mind and went crazy. And then Roberto decided, oh, we're going to keep them together, and now they're going to adopt her baby. Let me refresh that. A grown man who knew she was a teenager because he stalked her and her friends. He knew she was a teenager. He dated her throughout the entire series for 6 years. And then in the 7th, they did the time jump and they get married. He married his teenage student. He dated his teenage student. He did his teenage student. Do you see what I'm saying when these people lost their stinking minds when they wrote this crap? All right, let's just get into A. There's 2 A's, but there's mainly one. A looks like this. A is like the serial killer who doesn't really go around killing that many people, but A wants revenge on people who bully other people. It doesn't like bully. It doesn't like people who harm people. Yet he harms people by killing them and stuff and terrorizing a bunch of little girls. He wants revenge for what happened to Angela and everything. So that's why he starts tormenting the mothers and everything. And he does classic A tricks. Send them letters, send them texts, send them like items, stuff like that. But not as much as the original. So why doesn't he just go after the moms and leave the daughters alone? Well, because the daughters decided they was gonna bully Karen. So now he has to go after them. He ends up killing Taylor when he thinks Taylor is like an assaulter and stuff like that. And so like in the big reveal, it's revealed that he is the brother of Angela. And that is why he wants revenge. And the father is the vice principal. Yes, so they want revenge and everything like that. We don't know what the killer A looks like in the face because the dad says only a face a mother could love. So it must be hideous and stuff. One thing about this A I don't understand is how in the world is A able to show up everywhere? He literally stalks these girls everywhere. He's always in the school and he shows up in the most random places. He walks past people and they don't freak out. He's able to like get around people and they don't see him. How? He is a 6 foot tall man. How do they not see him and stuff? it makes sense for the A's and Pretty Little Liars, the original series, because they were just young, like teenage and college girls who could blend in with everybody at school, blend in with everybody in town, so they never got caught and nobody never suspected anything. But this dude looks like this, and he parades around in broad daylight, and nobody ever says anything. Cars don't never see him. People on the street never see him. Nobody, he even hid in the bleachers in the auditorium doing the pep rally. Nobody never sees this dude. He creeps around school all the time. Nobody never sees this guy. How? And everything. So anyway, he kidnaps all the mothers in a very weird kind of way. He kidnapped a couple of the guys who did bad stuff as well. Chip, the drug dealer dude, some other folks, and stuff like that. And it's the trial now, the trial of the Angela Waters type thing. And he tells and the girls all like, y'all are hypocrites, y'all hurt people, y'all kill people, and then here you are like, judging us and all this other crap. And so then he has him chase after like, Imogen and everything. He wants that baby dead. And so like, I already told you, him and Imogen, they fought. He stabbed her. She stabbed him in the neck and in the stomach. Somehow he survived that. I don't know how, but he did. And so he's under police surveillance 24/7. He's tied up, but he gets the loose. He kills the sheriff cop dude, and then he goes to the house of Chip and he kills him. And I'm just kind of like, so him and his dad got away with it. He's now on the loose, still getting his revenge on people. Of course, he's still gonna want revenge on the moms. And here's the thing that, and then it's so weird because like this A will always send like texts and everything like this and that. And why did he go to the extreme to look like that? I get it. They wanted an 80s slasher movie vibe, but it was unnecessary. But here's the thing. The creator of the show thinks he has a good chance of getting a season 2. And I'm just like, no. Everything ended in kind of like a nice little bow. Everybody had Christmas together. All the moms, all the daughters, everybody got back together who was a broken home. All the boyfriends was there. Like everybody was there. Even Emily and her, oh not Emily, but what's her name? Kelly and her mom was there having Christmas dinner with them. And it's just like everything's done. Everything's wrapped up. Yeah, the killer's still loose and the killer still wants them dead and blah, 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 blah. But, just end this crap and just do something completely different. Or don't do nothing different because you're going to mess that up too. And this is why I have no faith in Roberto, man. He's so weird. He always has like adults messing around with teens. He always has nudity, teen nudity in his stuff. The walls in the house look so weird and bizarre. The houses look weird and bizarre from that whole Chilling Us Adventures of Sabrina. All the men are terrible monsters. The women suck too, but at least they have some redeeming qualities to them. He has all these off the wall situations. Like, okay, when they thought that like the killer was like, say, like the sheriff dude or whatever, or somebody, or Angela's brother, they're all like, let's go to the cops. But Noah's like, no, we can solve this ourselves and everything. It's 5 against 1. This happens in every freaking teen drama where they investigate everything themselves. They try to stop the killer by themselves. They go on some of the dangerous locations by themselves. It don't make no sense. As many flaws as the original Pretty Little Liars had, this show was just written weird, man. It was written so bizarrely, and it didn't have to be so bizarre. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.